Howdy, howdy, everybody. How are all my fellow travelers? Today, I'm going to read a little short story called The Boy. His stomach burned from the lack of food. It churned so badly he thought it would turn in on itself. The pain was making him sick. 4 days. He couldn't go any longer. The beginning of the month was too far away. He'd be dead by then. On an upside-down bucket he sat, watching the front of the mini-mart. 2 people were getting gas. 3 others were in the store. There was an employee and a policeman leaning on the counter talking. The cop was drinking coffee, smiling and laughing with one of the customers. They seemed relaxed, half asleep. The boy guessed it was the early hour, since the sun was barely up. He watched intently. He was mostly interested in the movements and the attentions of the cop. The pain in his gut made it hard to concentrate. Right now, he hated his mother. He hated her need for rock. He desperately hated that she gave away their food stamps for it. Damn her. Why the hell couldn't she be like other moms and actually care about her child? Damn. He broke down. Head hung low. His body shook violently. Why couldn't she love him? He was so hungry. God, please help me, he cried. A truck backfired and shook him from his grief. He breathed deep, wiping his face, and rubbed the back of his neck. His hand drifted to his pocket where the water pistol hid. It was black plastic, but it had a realistic appearance, provided you didn't look too closely. He figured if he had to, he could just flash it long enough to get the hell out. Not that he planned to hang about, he just wanted some food. There were more people now, and a truck at the pump. He could see a small line forming at the counter. The cop was on the other side of the line, but still within sight. He could slip in, shove some stuff in his jacket, and get out. If there were enough people at the counter, he would have a better chance of not being seen. At least, that's what he thought. He took a deep breath and stood, shoving his hands into the deep pockets of the denim jacket. A jacket so dirty it looked gray. He could feel his heart rate increase as he opened the door. His breath was shallow. He saw the employee behind the counter look at him as he entered. Acting as nonchalant as possible, he went down the first aisle. When he reached the end, he looked back. The employee was talking with a customer. Good, he thought, as he shoved a couple of snack cakes into his pockets. The cop was still there looking behind the counter, or maybe out the window, he couldn't really tell. But the cop wasn't looking at him. He opened the refrigerator door and quickly grabbed a soda. It too went into the pocket along with a bag of chips. His breathing quickened as he started up the aisle, his pocket now too full. He realized 2 things as he reached the door. 1, he could feel the butt of his water pistol poking out. And 2, he could no longer see the cop. As he stepped out the door, he quickened his pace. It was roughly 100 yards to the woods. His heart was beating in his ears with a vengeance. Young man! Were they talking to him? He couldn't look. Young man, you dropped something. The voice was insistent and closer. On the verge of speaking, the boy turned enough to see the cop behind him. Blood pounding in his ears, he started to run. His chest tightened, and he could taste bile in the back of his throat. "Stop!" yelled the cop. Was he right behind him? The boy didn't dare look. He could smell the woods, the pine, the decayed leaves. The spicy scent of freedom and relief were seconds away. "Stop now!" All the boy could hear was his own heartbeat. "Gun!" yelled a man at the pump. "He's got a gun!" The boy never heard the words. A god-awful sting ripped through his back, then another. The wind was suddenly knocked out of him. For a second, he saw his mother's face and thought how upset she would be at being woken up so early. There were two more pops as the boy's body wavered and fell. His torso hit the hard earth at the edge of the woods. They came running, the man at the pump, the cop, the people inside the store, stopping short just 3 feet of the boy. They seemed to be waiting for him to move. After a few seconds, a terrifying realization set in. "Oh, shit. That's Della's boy," proclaimed one of the crowd. "What? No, it isn't. Are you sure?" "Yes, it is. I should know. He lives across the road from my farmhand, just the other side of these woods." They all stood looking down at the boy in the dirty, oversized jacket, now bearing witness to 4 bullet holes. Though large for his age, one could see the youth in the face, now soft and relaxed. Ground debris and blood caked his hair. A pool started beneath his body, staining the earth and the pavement. Crushed snack cakes and a soda emerged from one pocket. From the other, partially hidden by the jacket but exposed enough to be seen, was the water pistol. "Oh, dear God. It's a water pistol," announced the man who was at the pump. A man from the crowd looked at the cop. "You killed Della's boy. He was only 14. I told him to stop. Why didn't he stop? I thought he had a gun," the cop replied before adding, "I'll call it in," and walked away. An older woman added, "They probably don't have any food. I imagine Della traded all their food stamps for crack. Wouldn't be the first time. Oh, poor kid. Damn, it's a hell of a way to live. I didn't recognize him in that jacket. That's not his. Don't know where he got that. Probably one of her Johns. She's a crack whore," offered one of the men. "That's enough of that. Show some respect. It's the boy's mother." The older woman always felt bad for Della, knowing how hard her life had been. The farmer scratched his head. "Yeah, a boy none of us could have given the time of day not 10 minutes ago. Snack cakes and soda pop. That's all his life was worth. It's disgusting. What the hell is wrong with us when a 14-year-old kid has to steal junk food just to eat? What the fuck is wrong with us when a kid we know is shot in the street because he's hungry?" The farmer was struggling for self-control. The older woman put a hand on his shoulder. "It's not your fault, Bob. It's not the fault of any of us. If we had known, we might have been able to help, but we didn't know. He was a kid, Lily. Damn. We should have paid more attention. He was the son of a crack whore. He would have ended up in prison. His kind always do. the other man offered as some kind of defense. The farmer turned on him. Who the hell do you think you are? What grand thing have you done in your life? What makes you think your life is any more important, any more valuable than his? I didn't mean all that. Damn, Bob. I'm just saying kids in his position usually end up in prison. Geez, you act like he's your kid. He's not just my kid. He belonged to all of us. We failed him. The farmer seethed through his teeth. My people were dirt poor. The only reason I have done as well as I have is because someone cared enough to help me when I was a kid. If they hadn't, that would have been me. The farmer pointed at the dead boy. Bob, said Lily, it's not you. You had nothing to do with his death. It's sad, but it's not your fault. As she looked pleadingly in his eyes, she saw a deep, quick change across his face. A calm, almost dispassionate voice, he replied. Sad, Lily? You know what's sad? I knew how that boy was living, but I was too busy to be bothered to stop and help. I knew, and I did nothing. I might as well have pulled the trigger myself. He turned and walked away. Then, one by one, they all walked away. Only the policeman was left with the boy, who lay on his bed of crimson earth, snack cakes and soda pop by his side. Thank you. We need to be more conscious and more careful of each other. We are each other's keeper. I don't care what anybody says. It is our job and our duty to take care of each other, especially our children. Because let's face it, they will be the ones taking care of us when we get older. So we need to take care of them now. Thank you.